strong female characters, and the stories are very often from their point of view. And Hira Mandi seems to be, from their perspective. So you just talked about how the courtesans lived. We didn't know how they lived, but we would love to know more about your perception of how they did, and tell us a little more. Take us into a little bit of a deep dive into their lives.
Don't you think you should wait for a few months to see
No,
it
just
actually
give
happen?
us a hint. Can't wait.
What is the point in telling? I cannot
Thoda sa.
explain.
We're just bullying you into
They are
telling us a
such
little more.
beautiful women. I feel that every woman in her life, every woman is a queen. She should be treated like a queen. Yeah, my mother was a queen. Your mother is a queen. You are a queen. She is a queen. Every woman is a queen. And these were courtesans who, behind their veils, were real women. They felt so much pain. There was so much that they went through. And yet they would come in the evening and sing and dance. Now look at those lives. They're called the courtesans. They do not have a very a place in society. Society goes to them. They please those men. They entertain those men, and they go back to their dark world. And once the prime time is over, the courtesan is dead and over. She's forgotten. So how are you going to, what about those jewelry that they wear and the makeup they wear and try and disguise and camouflage all the anguish that they feel? This is what is being told through the series, and these wonderful women have performed so beautifully. They're such nuanced performances. Manisha and me did the first film together called Khamoshi, which was
Ladies and
about...
gentlemen, Manisha Koirala in the house. That's silence for you. She was first film.
Yeah, so right from my first film, where she played a strong character, where she played a daughter to hearing impaired parents who didn't want to let her go. A similar theme in Koda also, but that was 25 years ago. To Nandini, to Parvati, to Rani's character in Black, they were all strong women. I feel all directors that I have loved, Raj Kapoor, Yash Chopra, K. Asif Saab, Mehboob Khan Saab, Bimal Roy Saab, Guru Dutt Saab, they were all who told beautiful women's stories. They understood that she's a creator of man, and therefore she needs to be given a place in literature, in cinema, in art, in every which way. So these were the great filmmakers, V. Shantaram. They always told stories of women. They were not telling necessarily stories of men. So if there's a Bajirao, there's a Mastani also for me. So as long as there is no Mastani, I would not make Bajirao. So as long as there is no Padmavat who holds fort and fights that war and goes into fire, I would have not made that film. So here is now, 7 women, 8 women who are inspiring me to say, oh, this is how you fight suffering. This is how you fight to stand for dignity. This is what dignity means to even a courtesan, even to a sex worker. Dignity is very important. That was the theme of Gangubai. So I've always granted learning from these great filmmakers and all great literature also. It's celebrating a woman, celebrating, that is, I think, the most difficult part for a filmmaker to be able to execute it. It's easy to say it, but, and when you have beautiful women and beautiful actors like that, I'm launching Sharmin into it, and she's also playing a very important part. So all these women, when they come around and perform, then they're telling something that you want to say. It's difficult. It's nuanced. I hope all that I'm bragging about right now actually reaches people and it converts onto the screen, because you're always insecure about it. A filmmaker is always insecure. That drives him to do his best, do his work harder, because will I get this right? I got Gangubai right. Now will I get Hira Mandi right? So I work harder. So what hard amount of hours I've worked in Khamoshi to the number of hours I work in Hira Mandi is tenfold more. Because I want to keep giving the audience, who I love immensely, my best and more and more and more, till the day they tell me to shut up and sit down and say, we've had enough of you. But I feel that Hira Mandi has got those nuances which you will find in the great Kamal Amroi's Pakiza. Hira Mandi is also my tribute to the OTT platform to those great Mughal Azam and to the great Pakiza, the great films that we made in India. Mehboob Khan Saab's Mother India. Hira Mandi will actually be that tribute to them. So,
oh my God, cheers to that. Wow. All I can say, ladies, is if there was a country for women, we'd want Sanjay to be president. Really, honestly. Yeah, nobody thinks about us. This is great.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, so here, I'm going to I have 5 or 4 rapid fire questions.
Still
Are you
more?
game? Are 4 quick rapid fire questions, okay? Let's just test your, you won't have to use your imagination for this one. So that's really, you can give it a break. All right. For you, your stories, okay, let me tell you that. Let me ask you first then. He's having water. Okay.
give him some water.
So you create stories that have inspired many. What inspires you? One word answer.
One,
One.
creation.
Okay.
So something from nothing, something spectacular from your mind to the screen. It's amazing.
What is the last thing that you watched or read that you loved and felt moved by?
I'm going to give you 2. Netflix picked up a film at Sundance this year called Fair Play. Earlier what I was talking about the art of storytelling and the new way of consuming. This is a movie that basically sets a hook with the audience in the first 5 minutes. The first 5 pages of the script took you on a ride with this couple that you're going to spend the next 2 hours with. That in the first 5 minutes you said, I am all in with these two. I cannot wait to see what happens to them. So that was really incredible. And a topic that has not been really addressed in film, so I'm really excited about that. That's a little ways off. And then on Netflix, this is not just a plug, I really was incredibly moved by our documentary, Romantics, because
We loved it too.
I've spent so much time and energy really trying to understand the history of and the connection of Indian cinema and the Indian culture, and it really connected the dots for me in a way that I never had experienced before. And to understand, I got this understanding. If you think about everything that we do in our programming in India, just think about it even recently with things like Class that's on right now. I know there's a couple of Class fans
Yes,
here.
absolutely. That's what I'm watching.
Major Manjnu, and they think the range of what's being out there, and the way that they was described which seemed so perfect, which is, it's like thali is the word, right? The food, a little bit of it, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and when you see that in many cultures, a movie has to be a drama or a horror movie or a love story or a musical. And in India, it could be all those things at the same time, and it's so cool. And it also reminded me, which was maybe my first introduction to India cinema was Dog. And that movie for me, I didn't know how important it was to the culture until I saw this documentary we did. I thought for me I grew up in the early days of the home video stores where you'd rent VHS tapes, and every video store had a copy of Dog. I didn't know why, so probably some distribution deal somebody made. So in where I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, if you saw an Indian movie, it was probably Dog. So our documentary Romantics inspired me dramatically. So.
Amazing. And note to myself, never ask Ted Sarandos a one-word question.
Sorry. Oh, was that one? All right,
One.
pick any one of those words. You can pick any one of those words.
All right then. Okay, Sanjay, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is the last thing you saw or read that inspired you or you loved?
What I read, I'm not telling because somebody will go and make a series or a
We
film
can't
out
have
of
that.
it. What I saw last was, I think for the last 1 month, I've been watching Hiramandi's episodes on the edit table. So I'm only watching that. No, seriously, I watched a film called The Banshees of Inisherin, which I was very moved by. I thought it was spectacular. And that films like that can be made today when we only talk about box office in millions and trillions. And then there is a pure film like that which comes and just touches you at the core, simple, beautiful. So yeah.
What is the best compliment you've received?
On this outfit earlier today from Sanjay.
Yes, that's true by him. and you, Sanjay. Come on, give it to us. We need to see a side of you that we only see your work.
No I still haven't received that compliment which I would like to listen to or hear or feel good. So I'll wait for it.
Get the world's compliments and you haven't liked any?
No, but I'll wait for
We'll
that
wait for
right
it.
one.
Oh,
That
all
will
right.
actually
Okay, we'll
move
ask
me
you for
and
the
say-
next series,
And so,
season 2.
okay, now I can retire. After that compliment.
That's the one. No pressure.
Okay, this is an interesting one. This is for you, Ted, and only you. What project do you regret having passed on?
All of the ones that worked.
Good one. All right. Fair. You got to be honest. And Sanjay, this one is only for you. If you got the opportunity to remake a classic, which one would you go for?
I think Mother India, which I would refuse to make because you can't touch that film. No filmmaker should make it, but that's one film that I would like to remake, but I will refrain from making it.
All right, fair enough. Well said. That's all that I have. I have many, many more questions, but I'm going to leave the floor open to, a lot of you out here who have questions. We have mics in the audience, so let's have, the mic given out to different places. We've got students, we've got media, we've got a lot of influencers, and the floor is open for questions.
Minnie, hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
go
I'm
ahead.
not getting up because there are cameras behind me.
Go ahead.
First and
Very
foremost,
courteous.
Hi,
That's very
Rishi.
courteous.
yeah. Minnie and Sanjay, I love you very much.
You got to love Ted if you love
What a
us.
wonderful conversation, Ted, and many ups to Team Netflix and Monica and Tanya to bring this conversation to us. My question is actually to Ted. One is using EQ, emotional quotient, to understand what content is bingeable and what is sticky, but you guys also have a lot of data at your disposal. So what makes content bingeable and sticky? Not just with emotions, but with data, which is the new oil, all the stuff that you come together with. If you could just underline the factors, that'll help us. Thank you.
Look, I think data is a tool. It's not anything but. It helps you understand something. There's a kismet and a magic that happens in the storytelling that is not captured in the data ever. So you see this and say, oh, that's going to be that. Data is very good at telling you some version of what you already did. But when you're trying to take on something you've never seen before, never recreated before, the data is of no use to you at all. I do think there's something around the thing that will people hang. You can start seeing that in big numbers when people are watching and maybe giving up on something around the same time or whatever. So you can get some sense of the rhythm of the storytelling and the connectivity.